Greetings everyone, it's Kaz here, and today I wanted to go over my most disappointing gaming experience this year in 2017. I've already covered my game of the year and my favourite games of 2017, so today I wanted to get a little bit pessimistic. I wanted to talk about what I was really let down by this year. So before we get into the actual main game I want to talk about today, I wanted to quickly give a sort of dishonourable mention, I guess, to Battlefront 2's campaign. I still really enjoy Battlefront 2's multiplayer, and I am absolutely sticking around in that community for all the free DLC content updates to come despite the microtransaction controversy, but I'll quickly want to mention that I was really let down by the campaign, by its underwhelming story that took predictable twists, and also how it was incredibly lackluster from a gameplay and level design standpoint. I just feel as though I would be remiss if I was making a video about disappointing games in 2017 and didn't mention this title. But I didn't want to cover it extensively because I've talked about Battlefront way too much on my channel, I feel as though, as of late, as most gaming outlets have, so I didn't really want to give it too much spotlight. So, my most disappointing game in 2017 is Destiny 2. Now, I know there's been a lot of hate going on about this game lately with the latest expansion and whatnot. I can't really speak to any of that stuff because I fell off this community. I fell off the Destiny 2 bandwagon a long time ago, around when the game launched. Now, I want to preface this quickly by saying, if you like Destiny 2, if you love the Destiny community, if you really enjoy the title, that's fantastic. Absolutely got nothing against you whatsoever. I'm just here today talking about my personal experience with the game. I think I also offer somewhat of a unique opinion on this as well because I am not a fan of Destiny, or was not a fan of Destiny at all. I never played the original game. It piqued my interest a number of times, but never picked it up. Mainly because the MMO style of gameplay, mixed with all the loot grinding aspect of it that people seem to love. So many people were so into, you know, upgrading their weapons, getting better armor, etc. That's just not my cup of tea. That's not why I play video games personally. I'm not a big fan of playing games, playing the same missions over and over again so I can get higher numbers and higher stats of weapons and armor and whatnot. So that's why I never played the original Destiny. So you may be asking, well then, why'd you pick up Destiny 2? And I was never interested in picking up Destiny 2 prior to launch, but when the game launched and I started watching some reviews and started watching some games coverage from other outlets out there, I became interested in the title. I still didn't want to take part in the grindiness aspect of it all, but the shooting mechanics looked solid, and a lot of people were praising the game's narrative and story, saying how it was marginally better than the first one. So at the end of the day, what I wanted was a fun shooter I could dive into by myself, experience the narrative, have a ton of fun with the core gameplay mechanics, and occasionally maybe play with a few friends, you know, level up and whatnot. That was what I wanted out of Destiny 2, and Destiny 2 just let me down. I beat Destiny 2 not long after it came out. I beat the campaign, and dabbled a little bit into the post-content stuff with the strikes and whatnot. That experience cemented my ideology that those kind of games are really not for me. I just don't find that kind of stuff fun, and I didn't find Destiny 2 very fun at all. I enjoyed the opening few missions. I thought the opening sequence was really well done. It had some beautiful music. The soundtrack overall I really enjoyed. And I can praise the gun mechanics forever. They're really great. They're really solid. They're really fun. Your character controls well, as you would expect from a Bungie shooter. But I just found the game boring and repetitive. And by the time I was finished, I was just pretty glad it was over, to be honest. It wasn't a particularly terrible experience. I do not hate Destiny 2. It just wasn't for me, and I found it disappointing. The story felt as though it was written by a 5-year-old. I see it as a lot of people praise the game and praise the story simply because the first one pretty much didn't even have a story. So in a lot of people's heads, when this one has a story and has cutscenes, etc., they see it as absolutely amazing that, oh my god, Destiny 2 has a fantastic campaign. But coming from someone who didn't know anything about Destiny 1 really that much, Destiny 2's campaign was pretty bad. It didn't have very much character development at all. I didn't know who half the characters were, nor did I really care. It had a very generic plot, and the actual levels themselves, while they were aesthetically pleasing at times, were just boring and kind of repetitive from a gameplay standpoint. Just run in and shoot them, keep running through, keep shooting, keep running through, keep shooting, which I guess sounds like any first-person shooter ever, but this especially just didn't connect with me. I enjoy first-person shooter campaigns, but this was just lackluster in my opinion. And in terms of the post-game stuff, with the other missions and side quests, I found the quests in the open hub areas really whatever, kind of lackluster. Waiting for something to happen, a big enemy to come from the sky or something, and you just stand there and dodge enemies and shoot it for ages until it dies, and you get a new weapon or some crap, I don't know. And while I found some of the strikes interesting and some of the bosses in them kinda cool, I could not imagine playing those over and over again like I know some players do. They were kinda cool the first time, but playing that over and over again and running that same level, I don't know, that kind of stuff just bores me to tears. So at the end of the day, all of this kind of just comes down to personal preference. I know Destiny 2 for me was a letdown because I was personally hoping for a more robust, a more interesting and intriguing narrative, and just a more fun and fulfilling campaign experience from the game. And I was also hoping maybe I could get into some of the post-game stuff, but none of that happened for me, and that's why, for me, I found Destiny 2 my most disappointing game of 2017. So as always, please leave your thoughts on this topic in the comment section down below. What was your most disappointing game of this year? If you enjoyed the video, make sure you check out some of my other content on the channel, and subscribe if you like what you see. I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Please do take care, and farewell.